Hey, it's Kevin the Tech Ninja, and I've had the Apple Vision Pro for 30 days. And in this video, I'll tell you how I've been using it and why I have to force myself to use it, and whether or not I'm hopping on the Vision Pro return bandwagon. The Apple Vision Pro is $3,500, and I upgraded the storage for another $200 because I plan on storing movies on it for travel, and I also plan to install as many games as possible. I am very aware when you're buying something new that you are paying the early adopter fee, meaning you know there are going to be bugs and pain points, and some of these issues may not be fixed until version 2, and version 2 also may be cheaper. As someone who is blessed to cover tech for a living, sometimes you start to get bored over small incremental changes. Now, I don't recall a time in my adult life that I was this happy or excited to unbox a brand new product. In my video, you can see the smile on my face and the reaction once I turned it on and started using it, and that sentiment is shared with everyone that uses it. As someone who's used a Quest 3 a lot, the hardware on the Apple Vision Pro, it's great. The design looks futuristic, the solo loop on the headband looks cool, even this little cover that goes over it looks nice. Now the build quality is what you'd expect from Apple, and the digital crown has the same look and feel of the AirPods Max and Apple Watch Ultra, so there's definitely some design continuity. But the big elephant in the room is this battery pack that just hangs off the headset. No matter what justification you make for it, it's not a good experience for the user. Either you're shoving this thing into a pocket or you have it on the couch next to you. It may not get in the way all the time, but when it does get in the way, and it will get in the way, it's just a quick reminder that you are tethered into this experience. I wouldn't say something went wrong. Apps is what makes or breaks the experience. Going into it, we saw that Netflix and YouTube are not going to be making native apps. So downloading a Netflix series or a YouTube doc before my next 10-hour flight is not going to happen. Also, in general, the amount of native apps is lower than expected. You know, I guess I'm spoiled with the App Store and Play Store, and I didn't expect millions of apps, but the number of Vision OS apps are very low. A lot of the third-party apps often feels half-baked and expensive for what they are, and some of them don't even have demos to try out. You know, you can install apps that are not designed for the headset, which are iPad apps, but then interacting with the apps is difficult since the buttons are much smaller, so trying to look at them can be difficult. Like even pressing send on Telegram is a challenge. You know, for fun, I like to go into the Lonely App Store and press on Vision Pro apps just to see if there are any must-have apps in there. And sadly, there's not. And I'm sure something is coming, but what is it? And would it be the app you must have? I do have to give some love to Reddit because Reddit really brings forward the best Vision Pro apps that are not really visible on the App Store just yet, because I was actually able to find some useful apps in there. It sort of did change my perspective a little bit and made me more optimistic when I actually saw what was in the works. Now, fit is gonna be subjective, and I've had a lot of people tell me that the solo loop fits for them without an issue. I found myself using this non-sexy headband with the top strap. Now, after around an hour or so, I still start to feel a little uncomfortable. It's not something that's not manageable. You can definitely power through it, but the much cheaper MetaQuest 3 is more comfortable. But of course, your miles may vary. Speaking of MetaQuest 3, I found the perfect carrying case solution. Apple's charging $200 for their case. This case is $25 on Amazon. Most MetaQuest 3 cases will work with it, so save your money and get a case that you like. I'll link this one down below. I love it. Whether it's an AR or VR headset, you are in a lonely experience, and I think Apple had an opportunity to make this not so lonely. You know, with the Apple Vision Pro, it does not support multiple users. So if my son wanted to use it, he cannot have an account on there to use it. Now there's a guest mode which you can limit what apps you want to give them access to, but sadly it requires a full setup every time someone wants to use it. And also the moment they take the headset off, it takes them out of guest mode and then back to my profile. So there's nothing they can use and put back on later. It is a one-time experience. Even if you give access to your password to someone, the eyes are not calibrated and the hands are not calibrated, so the experience wouldn't be that great for them. Now, one feature I was looking forward to was the ability to use my MacBook to give myself a large virtual screen. In theory, this does work, and I've successfully edited several videos using it, but there are a few things that hold it back for me. Number one, it's magical until it's not. You know, there are many times, and seemingly more recently, it has been happening more, that latency becomes an issue. It just starts getting laggy over time and I need to reconnect it for it to work. And it just makes more sense for me to use my 16-inch MacBook or my 34-inch monitor that I have to get work done. Also, I use more than one virtual display, and this doesn't allow me to do that. But to combat that, you can extend this display out to the size of your room so you have a ton of room for more than one app. Now, since the FOV is pretty narrow compared to your eyesight, it does require me to move my head to see the whole screen in that format. So it's kind of a cool demo, but when I'm trying to get stuff done, I never extend it that large. I didn't realize I use my peripherals a lot more than I thought. I'm always observing graphs and other things that are happening. And the Apple Vision Pro only renders what you're looking at. So when I glance at something, it actually can be out of focus, meaning I need to slow down and look at things while editing or actually working, which actually makes me slower. Now for a solo movie watching experience, this is great. Now some people who live alone can make the argument that if you want a 100-inch OLED TV, you're gonna pay around $5,000 to $10,000. This headset is less than that, and it gives you the same experience. Now, I don't agree with that logic 100%, but I can definitely see it. Now we have this massive screen in front of you. It's so crisp, and you can black out everything else around you. It is an amazing experience. The sound is also awesome, but people around you can hear it. So pop in some earbuds or some headphones and then you're definitely locked in. And of course, if you're using Apple's products, you do get access to Dolby and all those things. So it is worth using AirPods over anything else that you currently may use. I will say this right here, watching movies, is definitely that killer feature. And it's one of those features that really wants me to continue to use it. Now, if you do want this headset for gaming, we are not quite there yet. Now, there are some games, but most of these games are locked behind the paywall called Apple Arcade. Even those games are not great on here, and they kind of feel like a mini version of the game that is played on your actual phone. We have a couple of exceptions like Fruit Ninja, and then this $6 game, Dap Tap, which reminds me a lot of Beat Saber, and it's really, really fun, and definitely a game you should get day one. I do think this headset is great for meditation. It's a total sensory experience with lights and sounds, and Indel does a great job with it. But one thing that is sort of a bummer is that you can't wear it right before sleep, as you can't use it with the lights off. So if you are meditating and you want it to help you sleep, you need to then turn the lights off when you're done. If you have HomeKit home like me, it's an easy voice command, but if you don't, then you need to get up and turn the lights off, which can kind of be a little bit of inconvenience. I know, first world problems, huh? You know, this is the worst it will ever be. It's not perfect, it's overpriced currently, but we will get more apps and there will be more enhancements and also some customizations. Now, I will admit, over the past couple of weeks, I will say that I have started seeing some cool stuff like custom widgets. I mean, are they widgets or are they objects? I don't know. Like this Jukebox app, where you have album art sitting around and you can just click on them and they start to play. And that's pretty cool because it stays in your environment even when you leave the room. And like, I'm totally getting it. Like, I really see the future of this thing. I feel that this is somewhat still a beta experience and not fully well thought out at times. I mean, something as simple as Apple released a new sports app that's not available on Vision Pro. And also the keyboard likes to pop up in the way of your actual screen so you can't see what you're typing sometimes. But as someone who loves technology, I see this as an investment into maybe the next wave of mobile computing. I'm not sure if that's true, but if anyone can do it, it's definitely going to be Apple. This headset is compared to the Meta Quest 3 a lot, and the Zuck himself thinks it's a better headset. Well, I did a deep comparison between these two headsets, so make sure you check the video out, linked down below.